Welcome to the official Sup Nerd podcast. I'm Victoria Cheng, aka Chubby Ninja, and today with me I've got Kentrell, otherwise known as
Quack.
Quack. He's Quack. Heyimquack.
Heyimquack.
Kentrell is a caster for FPS titles like Valorant. And today we're going to do what we always do and discuss all things gaming related, all things geek related. If you do want to put a face to our lovely voices, you can check it out on YouTube, Sup Nerd TV's YouTube channel. So we've just wrapped up over this weekend the Global Esports Festival, which I still have the...
Yeah, there's a gaming-themed dress code.
Yes, and I've brought it with me here today. Incidentally, we are going to talk about the Esports Game of the Year.
The best game ever.
Best game ever. We might be biased. I don't know, but it's our podcast, so we're going to say whatever we want. So let's jump into it. We want to talk about Valorant, and I've been dying to talk about this.
Oh, yes.
All year. And, this is our 4th episode now, and all I really want to do is talk about Valorant. If you go back, you can actually hear me mention Valorant in every single one of the previous episodes. So I'm glad you're here with us today. But what is Valorant, right? For those of you who aren't really familiar and this game has been getting more popular, first of all, it's pronounced Valorant, not Valorant. I think we want to clear this up. It's a Riot title. It's been 6 years in development, but it launched beginning of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think around March or May or something.
Beginning of 2020.
2020, yeah, for sure.
And it's worth talking about because this game has just exploded in growth. There have been a lot of comparisons when Valorant first came out, like, what is this game? And everyone always said, oh, it's Overwatch combined with Counter-Strike.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you could kind of say that just because there are, like, heroes or agents, but at its heart, it's still a tactical 5v5 shooter. So
I agree completely, and I think people are starting to see that as well. I think it's been interesting because Valorant was often poo-pooed on by other
so much.
Yeah, by especially Counter-Strike players, it's like this fluffy cartoon version.
It's the Fortnite of of tactical FPSs.
Do you agree with that?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the graphics, sure, I guess you could kind of say that, but the gameplay is still pretty good. I like it. Yeah,
and I think it does require an immense amount of skill. And I think, 2 years into it and seeing so many different people play, and now on the world stage with Valorant Champions, you can see that it isn't really just throwing a bunch of skills around with colorful agents. So it's huge globally. North America, I think we hear the most about it coming from North America. But just to share, I guess, some stats on this. So I don't know the exact date. We probably should have looked this up when this launched. But just between December last year and January this year, the game already reached 61 million watched hours on live streaming platforms.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's already between December to January alone last year. That was a nearly 30% increase. Yeah, in just 1 month. And I remember that period. It really felt like suddenly all my friends were playing, just a year ago.
Jump in. June 2020 is when it launched.
June 2020. Okay, so we've got info from Google, which Ed is doing. Yeah, June 2020. Wow. So that means between June and December, or June and January last year.
Steady-ish growth?
Yeah, I think it was steady, and then it just went
boom.
Psh.
Exactly.
And March this year, Valorant was one of the most streamed games on Twitch with 3.26 million hours worldwide on Twitch.
Oh, yeah. I just got my Twitch recap too. Valorant was the first thing that I have on my list.
Same. My whole list is Valorant. It's a Valorant channel, and then anyone who plays Valorant.
Anyone who plays Valorant, pretty much.
So I think there have been a lot of contributing factors to this. It might just be because the game is fun. It's very approachable in a way. It's for all levels. Whereas you get some other tactical shooters are very, I guess the way it feels really gritty. It feels very
hardcore.
Yeah, or just not as colorful, and it feels serious. I don't know, just because of the mood of it.
It's a little bit, right? Because some other tactical shooters shoot for like military realism, so
Yeah.
they love to go have like all these counterterrorism units and stuff, and the colors just look really dark. But with Valorant, you know, it's fresh.
Yeah.
Not everyone has grenades.
Yeah.
Different agents have different abilities, and you kind of have to think and like how you want to coordinate your abilities that way.
I think that was the most interesting thing watching Counter-Strike players come into Valorant.
Oh.
Okay, I think at the end of the day, the better shot, you have a severe advantage if you can shoot. You know, your mechanics are
Precise
good.
gunplay.
Yes,
That's the
precise gunplay. It's super important. But that said, it's not enough, because if you don't know what all the different agent skills are, you're going to get screwed over. And I've seen it happen. Like, you can maybe get an ace, but I don't know.
Like you might not know what's going on.
Yeah, and if someone knows how to use their skills against you.
I think there was like a Counter-Strike pro, Simple. I mean, he's a legend now.
Yeah.
But when he tried out Valorant on his stream or something, and you know people were using Sky, throwing out the hawk.
Yeah.
it's basically a flash.
Yeah.
And he just had no idea what that was, and he's just like, what is this? Why is there a bird on my screen? Oh my god, now I'm blind. And he's just so confused. Like, yeah, the guy could shoot, but you know it still takes a little bit of time to get into the game.
Exactly. Or people standing in Killjoy's traps, with Sky's blinds, or they.
It's like, what is this turret? This purple eye in the middle of the air? Do
Yeah.
I shoot it? Do I not? What's going on?
Exactly. Or if you know, sometimes they leave because they don't know that Sage can res you. So I think it just adds so much more dimension. So like even if it had all like the old gritty war colors, I think just the nature of having all these skills adds a whole new dimension and does make it more complex.
I have to agree.
We might be Valorant biased.
Yes, we
but
are.
Honestly, anyone who poo-poos on Valorant from Counter-Strike, I think over time as they play more Valorant, I've seen most of them actually warm up to it and actually end up really liking it.
It's a little bit different, I suppose. I mean, people can argue that Counter-Strike has a higher skill ceiling just because you got grenades and it's not as easy to throw them because you need to study all the different lineups. Like, you got to look at this specific pixel on the roof of this building and then jump and throw it just so it lands at the perfect spot. But in Valorant, no, you just press an ability, maybe click your mouse a little bit.
But when you see some of these other guys, like what's that
Jonas.
Silva? Yeah, Average Jonas.
Yeah.
So he's doing exactly the same thing in his lineups. Or I don't know who's a good Viper, but I've seen some amazing Viper lineups, and like Nats, who was brilliant in Champions and didn't make it. To number one. So I think there is some translation over time, which I think like any game. So in episode 1, we talk about Pokemon Unite, and I did make a comparison to Valorant. It is streamlined. I don't know if it'll get to the point where Valorant is, but I think as people learn the game more, as more agents get introduced, people are going to learn more clever. Like, you look, even just Act 1 versus now, the way people play are very different.
Very different. I mean, the meta has shifted quite constantly. I think that's partially also because Riot constantly balances the game. New agents, new maps coming out.
Yeah.
At some point, people kept buying stingers.
Yeah.
The shotguns.
I remember,
Classic right clicks. Now all that's gone. They're tuning it back.
Exactly. So no cheese strats. I mean, it's...
Keeps it fresh,
And I think, speaking of Average Jonas, Nats, and these guys, or even Flow Ascending, I don't know if he competes. Does he compete?
I think...
He's amazing, though. He's an amazing Sage. I think what Riot's done with, LCQ, VCT, Masters, and now Champions, I think would you say that helps grow the audience in a massive way?
I think so, because Riot has a lot of involvement and a lot of effort put into the esports scene. Like other titles, sure, it's a big esport as well, but I think the developers don't do nearly as much as Riot. You know, with Riot, they have it was a whole circuit planned out for the entire year, and not just in like the bigger major regions, North America, Europe. They have it for basically the entire Earth, the entire world.
Earth.
Pretty
Earth
much.
one.
Like every single region, Southeast Asia, Korea, Japan, well, of course, North America and all those other regions as well. But yeah, everything was building up to this Champions bit. And it's like the first international LAN in a long time because COVID and stuff as well.
I think that's exactly it. It's they've reached out to every continent, and you know, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about right now, what they've done is they have, I guess, your country qualifiers and your finals within each country, and it kind of builds up, and you see the same teams kind of, you know, heroes are created out of this. You see like players over and over again, and you start to know who they are. You start to have start to have your favorite.
They're like celebrities.
Yeah, they're like celebrities. Like everyone knows, if you play Valorant, you know who Tens is. You know, it's just
the Aim Labs guy.
The Aim Labs guy, yes.
The guy who so Aim Labs is this aim trainer game with a lot of like balls on your screen.
Yeah.
And you gotta basically shoot every one of them, and they pop up randomly. But Tens just does it so quick, so fast that nobody else can compare.
It is amazing watching him play. And I think together with his girlfriend Kaide, they do more casual plays as well on their streams. So I think Masters Reykjavik in Iceland, I think that was probably, you know, that saw like the first peak of Valorant, where a lot of people really paying attention to it and kind of had their favorites at that point. I believe Sentinels won. The Reykjavik, and they became heroes of that. We were talking about this earlier. It's just kind of cool seeing how Valorant has evolved in terms of, like, you don't know who the winners are going to be at this point when you go through, you know, the different finals.
But yeah, it's basically the fact that there's no clear established like dynasty. At first it was Sentinels, and then afterwards with Masters Berlin, it was Gambit. And then now we were thinking like Gambit would take it home again in Champions, but no, a whole new team came out, and then Sentinels got knocked out really early on. Yeah. North American teams all wiped off.
It was really sad because like by then we already established our favorites. Like, you know, worldwide, I think a lot of people had North American teams as their favorites, and they just got knocked out. But Champions was really cool seeing, like we were saying, like all these different countries come in. So we got, you know, Crazy Raccoons. We had
Vision Strikers.
Yeah, Vision Strikers. So Korea and Japan playing. Really cool to see how they would match up, because even though it's the same game, I think each country has a slight
different style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is fun because of course we got to root for our Southeast Asian boys. You know, it's Team Secret, or I think before they were known as Bren. It's a Filipino esports organization. And there was a lot of discussion about who would actually qualify from the Southeast Asian region. PaperX was one of the contenders, the Singaporean team. But Bren, they just showed up. They did their homework. They managed to take a map off of Gambit in the first group stages, so everyone was kind of excited. And it kind of just sparked a whole discussion about like play styles. And I think there was a screenshot from Discord, Dubstep, who's one of the players from Team Secret. He said something like, North America has an aggressive-ish play style. Europe plays a little bit more conservative, so they like to approach things methodically, tactically. They don't just rush in blindly. And then Southeast Asia has whatever the works.
Yeah, just whatever the works. I guess it works sometimes.
It's you know, every region has a different kind of style, different mindsets, different agent compositions, and you kind of just borrow from each other. You know, you play against each other. You kind of learn different things, and it keeps the game fresh. Yeah,
exactly. And I think we saw that with a couple of teams in Champions where. Exactly that, where we saw maybe certain teams underperform in past tournaments, and they came back real hard with a completely new strategy, maybe having learned from some of the other teams. Yeah. and surprised a lot of the viewers during Champions. That was really exciting to watch. Throughout those 2 weeks earlier this month.
Picking agents that nobody else picks, that
Yes.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think in the pro scene, Astra is known as the default controller just because she's so versatile, I guess. But the last few maps, Ascend actually went with Omen. Ascend was the team that beat Gambit and Nats' team, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It was surprising to see Omen come back. I almost thought like Omen was just going to be shelved, so it was kind of nice to see Omen make a comeback. It's interesting though. So Ascend, I think, like you said, was an unlikely winner. They're from Eastern Europe, I think. It seemed like a lot of them.
Turkey, if I'm not wrong.
I don't know. But somewhere unexpected. It wasn't what we expected. So
EMEA region.
yeah, I think that's good. Good for them. That wasn't the team I was rooting for, but good for them. And I think this again keeps things fresh. So let's talk about like the CS, the Counter-Strike versus Valorant trends.
Of course.
There's no doubt right now Counter-Strike is still more played.
Yeah.
But if we look at some of it, I think we look at some of the, we compare Stockholm to Champions. Do you want to share some of the stats, the viewership stats on that?
So for Counter-Strike, they haven't had a major tournament in quite a while. Meanwhile, Valorant has been, ramping things up. But they announced this major tournament, I think a few months back, held in Sweden, Stockholm. It's the PGL major. And since it was the first one in quite a while, I think a lot of people were interested. They got a lot of the old school, like legendary casters, Anders, Sandler, Sadakist, Machine, Sponge, and of course all the big teams as well. So it really peaked out at I think like 2 million plus views, which is really huge. And compared to Valorant, Champions still only peaked out at about I think a million-ish.
Oh, yeah, over 1 million. For the final game, Gambit versus Ascend, it was over 1 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where it peaked.
It still doesn't quite compare to the 2 million.
Yeah.
But then again, there are other like Counter-Strike tournaments that run, like the Blast Premier Major Finals, I think, and that one didn't reach. I don't know if it reached 1 million.
It didn't. I think it was like 700,000.
700,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's still a bit of healthy competition between the two.
Yeah, and I think if you look at how new Valorant is versus how long CS in general has been around, there's no doubt there's been a lot of adoption, like high adoption rate for Valorant. And it's just more fun to watch. The games are shorter, right? And it's just more fun to watch.
It's just more fun to watch. Valorant's the best game ever.
It's the best game. It's the Esports Game of the Year. Official Sub-Nerd Award for 2021.
Valorant a child game.
Okay, so there's a new agent coming out. The 19th agent, Agent 19. There have been some rumors. Why don't you share some of those rumors? What are your predictions for this Agent 19?
I don't know. Predictions? There have been like leaks and people who really study up on all those things. And basically they found out that she's going to be from the Philippines, which is pretty cool. I mean, Philippines, they're one of the countries that made it to Champions. Codename Sprinter, which is interesting, I guess. I'm not sure if I want another like fast-paced dashy agent in the game.
The only thing worse than one jet is 2 jets.
There's 2 jets. But what's cool is that Riot actually teased her. Riot loves to throw out teasers here and there. I mean, Arcane, they threw out a teaser like way back. Nobody actually caught it until the show came out. Yeah. So this one, they teased her, I think, during the Champions opening ceremony when like the Zed was performing and all that stuff. They had this screen. It looked like code, and you can see a very faint outline of this person or character moving around.
Ponytail.
Very interesting. And she's gonna be she's gonna have lightning-based abilities.
Yeah, like electricity something. I'm really curious how.
But you get to play tester, so you should tell us more.
Yes, I did get a little bit of tester access early Jan. It's only a little bit before you guys get to play, so it's not that much sooner. But yeah, in like 2 weeks, I really can't wait because I really enjoy Jet. I really love. I mean, Jet's fun. There's no doubt that Jet is just.
You always play Jet.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play Sage when I have to. But it's like always a battle stage. I'm a very aggressive player, so I like the idea of having another option besides Jet. So if I lose the insta-lock, I'll have another one.
Another one. I think she might have, because Sprinter, right? That just makes me think of, I don't know if you've played like the Snowball game mode or Spike Rush Combat Stim, and then you get your movement speed is increased. Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll give her an ability that's similar to that.
I can imagine. Yeah, you're right.
Something along those lines.
That's a good prediction. I'm kind of tired of teleporting characters, agents. I think we have enough with Chamber with his teleportation.
Yoru?
Yoru. I don't know, or even like slow-mo teleport with Omen. So I would like. That would be really interesting. It's really hard though, I think, to aim when you're in that snowball mode. But you know what? You're probably right. That was probably a nice, like, maybe a test into it. Now, let's talk about the ladies in the scene. I think, in the esports scene, generally, I think, 10 years ago, we can see a sort of a trend. More female players were playing Counter-Strike already, but it's still very much a male-dominated esport and game, and still is. One thing I've noticed with Valorant is that there's no shortage of female players. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool to go in with like a pug and find out there's another random who's a girl on my team, and it's like we get really excited. It's like, oh cool, we can talk on comms now and feel like we're safe. So I know FSL, the female esports league. Yeah, I took part. You were casting for it. I took part in the tournament. It was for like lower rank.
How far did you get?
Let's
not talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. No, it was okay. We I just wanted the experience, and it was fun, and we had a lot of fun, the girls and I. But again, like finding enough female players was no problem. It was just like, girls, let's go. In fact, we had to like cut out some because we only have 6, 5 plus a sub. So yeah, like what are your thoughts or I guess observations about like girls in the Valo scene?
It's a little bit difficult for me to comment on this because I'm a guy, but I really do think that there is a lot of support, and we do see like a lot more female players than compared to before. Like if you play Counter-Strike, I know that there are stories of girls who tried to get into Counter-Strike, but then they got basically kind of flamed just for being a girl, in comms and stuff. Yeah, it's really disgusting. But now in Valorant, with the fact that there are a lot more girls playing, it, like you said, it feels safe to just come out and talk, and you can actually enjoy the game now without being afraid that some, I don't want to curse, but some annoying guy will start flaming you for no real reason.
They still will, by the way. That's why I never speak on comms until I make sure I'm already MVP. Then I'll speak up and tell them, shut up.
Yeah, it's really weird. And just Valorant, basically, Riot has the whole Game Changers thing to show support for women and encourage them to compete. So, like with FSL, the one that you just participated in, we had a sign-up of like 40 teams in total.
You didn't expect it, right?
More. Yeah, we were like, because it's a rank-limited tournament, so we thought, maybe since not everyone is like really into competing, some people just want to play for fun. Maybe you'll get like 20-ish teams, still enough to run a tournament, but wow, 40, that's like a lot more than we expected. 40, if you consider that it's 5 players per team, you basically have 200 people looking to compete.
It really messed up our personal schedule. We're like, what? Now we have to play against how many more teams? What? I was like, we had plans, we had the festival this weekend. We had like so many other of our own personal plans. We're like, but we can't not play. which was really cool. Do you notice any difference, having casted for both like mixed teams, male teams and female teams, like a difference in gameplay style, communication style, maybe?
Gameplay style, I honestly don't think so. Like, whatever your gender is, if you can play, you can play. That's pretty much it.
Equality.
Exactly. That's really what it's about. I mean, if you don't put in the hours and if you don't take the game seriously, even if you're a guy, it just shows. But if you really care about it, you can see on screen, like, you really did put in the work to learn all the lineups, practice your aim, your shooting, and all that stuff. But that said, I think in terms of communications, we were kind of talking about this a little bit early on. The girls are just too wholesome. Every single game that I cast, at the end of it, you look in all chat, they're just like, "Oh, good game, good job, guys. You guys play so well. Let me add you. Let's play more together."
Guys don't do this.
Guys are just like, all right, good game. See ya. Bye. That's it.
It's true. And I noticed our team did that as well on comms. They were just like, "Hi, guys." Like, before we went into the game. I doubt this happens at any other tournament. "Hi, guys. Good luck. All the best." And like being really nice before the game. I'm going to be honest. I'm not personally like that. I was ready to like BM and make them feel bad and like lose confidence. But no, absolutely everyone else was absolutely not like that.
Everyone's nice. If you watch like VCT, the guys, we'll do teabagging. Casters call it tactical crouching. we have a lot of like banter. They love to, like, on LAN, shout across the stage and just like, "Oh, where are you? It's a 1v5, quit hiding, come out." That kind of stuff. But with girls, like, you don't really have that happening. I've tried to incite drama, like before the finals, I'll kind of just ask them, like, "Okay, who's your rival team? Like, who do you want to beat? Is there one player that's like so strong that you want to take her down? Please give me something that I can talk about on air so that we can kind of create some storylines or something." But no, they're just like, "Oh no, it's this other team. Last time they beat us, they were really good, but we trained hard, so now we're looking to like quit being so nice, girls."
I think, like, you know what? I think that's what the gaming scene needs. It's like some of that.
A little bit more drama.
Yeah, positive energy. Okay, that said, to tell you the truth, I'm pretty sure there is some underlying competition, and that definitely 100% exists. I can hear it from the girls' locker room. I can tell you, internal comms, they want to trash each other. We want to trash each other, but we'll be very polite in public, and I think that's the way you should behave anyway.
Yeah, it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's all good fun. I mean, yes, I get it. There's nothing like a little drama to keep the viewers like hooked in, but I think that's good. I think that's a good starting point. At least I would love to see not like mixed teams a little bit more often happen. I do know, I got a question before, like, why does something like FSL exist? Why is it women's only?
Right.
I think I do need to clarify this from a women's standpoint, is that it exists not because we want to be exclusive about it. Because I think the argument is that women will never be able to play against men on the top stage if we keep dividing it. Yeah, so I think the point of this, though, is that it's a safe space for women to game. Yeah. So I think girls just don't want to hear this anymore, and they're like, I'm just going to play with other women. I think, without a doubt, there are particular types of male players, and you know it. Like, you just know it the moment you speak up on comms, even if you're the MVP, and you're not just getting the most kills, you're actually carrying the team, and they don't know what they're doing. The moment they know you're a girl, they'll just question you, doubt you, backseat game. The worst is when they die and they're backseat gaming the whole time. I'm like, shut up. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about, but they know just because you're a female, like, oh my God.
Problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. They get really offended, by the way, when a girl tells them to shut up. It's like, a girl just told me to shut up. But anyway, that's just stuff we have to deal with. I've learned to kind of calm down about it and in game, and just,
But that's the thing, like, shouldn't have to deal with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I think, with all these tournaments, FSL, it's, again, like you mentioned, not for exclusivity, but more for just to encourage women to compete, so that you have more girls playing, more girls competing. Eventually, you would have those female team standing right up next to the big guys, and that's the main goal, I think.
Have you seen any teams that are, potentially can rival, say, Paper X, because that's like a local team? Or not quite yet, still developing. It is a new game and it is a new scene.
I think players, definitely. A team, hard to say, because everyone has their own reasons for playing, and some girls maybe competing is a little bit more difficult. Like, you really have to put in the hours, and they don't necessarily get paid like a monthly salary, so there's still a lot of ground to be covered, I think. But that said, like, I wouldn't say that there are no teams that can stand up to the guys. The Indonesian team in FSL, that they pretty much steamrolled everyone.
Yeah.
Alter Ego Celeste, they never lost, not once. Every single
we didn't
tournament.
go up against them, and I'm kind of glad. I saw the stats and the scores. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope we don't
always
get that team.
I think there is a chance. Like, they definitely can stand up to the guys.
Cool. All right. How about yourself? We played a game together. Are you comfortable sharing your rank as a Valorant caster?
I don't mind. I mean, that's kind of one of the things, right? Also, like, just going back to talk about girls a little bit. Rank and like casting or just being a talent on air. Sometimes people think that, oh, if you don't have a high rank, who are you? Why should I listen to you when you're talking about this stuff? But no, I mean, we gotta study our casting and our hosting and all the different players and teams a lot more. So sometimes the pros themselves, they don't even play rank that much. Mm-hmm. They spend a lot more time scrimming. Mm-hmm. So that's really just to bring back the point about the host for Valorant Champions, Yensu Collins. Her boyfriend is one of the pro players from Fnatic. But just because she's gold rank or something, she doesn't play the game that much, people were flaming her and saying like, "Oh, you have no business being a host." But that's not true. So yeah,
I think you made this point, and I think I agree that she might get a little bit more flack than usual, and it's because she's a woman. She's I thought she did great, hosting champions. If you didn't know anything about her rank, because I didn't know she was gold, like, I wouldn't think anything of it, of any of the women on that panel. Actually, I felt like they all knew what they were talking about. So I agree, and I think this applies to any sport. Like, sports commentators in other sports aren't like professional baseball players or like basketball players, and they're like, especially basketball, it's like a bunch of like white dudes,
old white guys.
Old white guys. I mean, you don't give them crap. So
football, old white guys.
Yeah,
it's not like they could kick the ball in sprints nonstop.
Yeah, and they're not all ex-pro players or anything like that.
Yeah.
So with Valorant though, I think it's kind of interesting. You're saying there's like this trend of people meeting and dating. Mm-hmm. Is that a trend or just a joke?
I'm not sure.
Have you met any nice girls?
Personally, no. I don't do any of that. I don't even play rank that much. But yeah, there are a lot of memes, a lot of jokes about like people using Valorant as a dating app, which is it's kind of funny, but at the same time it's like, is it a real thing? Because there are streamers who are dating pros and stuff, and they meet through the game. Exactly.
I actually know two friends. I'm gonna point this out to this podcast. They started dating because of Valorant. We met each other through stream. Like, one of the guys came onto my stream before. We kind of like met each other before, but then through like all of us gaming and streaming together, they didn't know each other prior, and they started dating. I mean, she asked him like, wow, he has amazing, he watches Flow Ascending a lot, has amazing, he plays Sage really well. And so, yeah, he was like, can I show you some of my Sage walls?
Hey girl, can I show you some of my walls? Show you how I erect my... No, okay, no, let's not go there.
I don't know what his line was, but I hope it wasn't as bad as that.
Let
me add you. Let's go into a custom game, just two of us. Go to Ascent and make some walls. So they're dating now, though, but it's cute. And they played, whether they played together or not, but they met through a game. I mean, I don't think it's a novelty for people meeting in game, but I think it's really a novelty to see people meeting through a shooter.
Of all things.
Yeah, of all
Not
things.
like an MMO.
Yeah, not like an MMO where people are role playing and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's a shooter. I've definitely personally gotten offers for carries and or anything. I was like, well, I don't know.
Let me teach you how to play the game.
Yeah,
Like,
I carry you. But no, I'm not that high rank. So yeah, I think it's cool. It's cool to see how, I guess, multifaceted Valorant is. Beyond just being a shooter, it's become very much a social game. It launched during COVID, so I think, that...
if you're starved for social interaction, Valorant's the game to go to.
I honestly... It's fun with a 5-man stack with friends, but when I'm in game, what I love the most is like 3, maybe 4 of us, and then there's like 1 or 2 other pugs, and I always...
You just talk to them.
I always talk to them. Like, what's up? Where are you from? And you find out where they're from, and they think you're trolling, and then they realize, hey, I've made some friends through it this way, like in-game friends.
It's definitely fun, but also can get a little bit toxic sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a personal thing. I mean, we've had Brandon on the show. I try not to say too much, but Grandin loves to just... He doesn't care. He doesn't care. We've had one guy who, I think he mentioned, like, he lost a clutch. Like, it was 1v1, and then he just said something like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. It was my connection's lagging. I've got, like, I think it's a hardware issue. And Grandin just goes out like, nah, I think it's a biological lag.
Brandon!
It's biological. Your hand's not moving in time.
That's so mean! Brandon seems so nice.
It's all good fun. We're not serious.
No, I get it. It's fun. It's only fun to tease a little bit. And I think the best is when you get someone who...
Start teabagging.
Yeah, they just teabag you back. They BM you back, and it's all in good fun. It's like no one's like going home crying or staying home crying. So yes, I think that about wraps it up. If you guys want to play a game with us, he's Quack. I'm Poo Poo Bunny.
Poo Poo Bunny.
And find us in game on my Twitch, aka Chubby Ninja. So yeah, any last thoughts?
Valorant HL game. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. It's you talked about baby strat games. This is a baby FPS game.
Baby FPS game. A baby colorful FPS game. It's a great game. Okay. So, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Sup Nerd. If you want to check out our other episodes, you can follow or subscribe to us on Me Listen, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. You can also check out Sup Nerd TV on YouTube, so you can see the video version of this. You can see who Kentrell is actually, like what he looks like, what I look like, and some cool footage that our team will be editing, Ed and Javon. This is our last podcast of this year. We're going to take probably a week break, and then we're going to get started again mid-January. But thank you guys for listening in, being part of our listeners for our first few episodes. So if you want to get in touch with us, send some feedback, maybe some episode recommendations, or if you just want to say hello, you can do so by dropping a message on Instagram at supnerd.tv or to myself, Victoria Cheng. Don't forget as well, to subscribe. Just subscribe to everything on every channel. Happy holidays, everyone, and Happy New Year, and see you in 2022.
Yeah.